My name is Gonzalo Guzman Camaño, and I'm going to tell you something horrible that happened to me 2 weeks ago. I couldn't keep it to myself any longer, so I decided to write it down so I can maintain my sanity and know that what happened was true. It all started one night when I received an unexpected visit from a friend at my house. His face was pale and his body was shivering non-stop. In his right hand, he held a blue pendrive that he slowly brought to my face. "Take it," he whispered. I obeyed him with terror and put the flash drive in my pocket. Immediately, my friend put his hands to his face and began to cry silently. His cries became louder and louder until they became screams of agony. I was terrified and tried to ask him what was happening. He suffered a few seconds on the ground and then fell to the floor. I screamed for help until my mother answered me. The rest, I prefer not to remember. The day of the funeral was one of the saddest I've ever experienced. Seeing my friend's entire family crying for him destroyed me inside. The autopsy said that the cause of death had been an epileptic attack, and they never asked me for my version of the story. I never knew why. When I got home, I locked myself in my bedroom and started crying, and replaying the moment of his death over and over again. Then I remembered the pen drive. I quickly checked the basket of dirty clothes and looked in the pocket of my pants I used that day, and then I found the pen drive. At first, I hesitated to connect it to the computer, and to this day, I very much regret having done so. I felt totally terrified, but I decided to see what that thing was hiding. I turned on the computer, and as soon as it loaded, I quickly connected the pen drive to the slot. A window appeared that said that the pen drive had a file. It was a document written in a language that I still cannot decipher. I opened it without thinking. The document contained a file called sonic_the_hedgehog.exe. I noticed that the name was misspelled, but I couldn't process it in my mind. I double-clicked on the file and an error message appeared. I don't remember exactly what it said. I only remembered that it said something about the file not existing. I felt a little relief, but then I remembered that the name itself was misspelled. More than once, I managed to fix a file by correcting the name, so I added an E to the word hedgehog. The file allowed me to correct the name, leaving it as sonic_the_hedgehog.exe. That's when I remembered that my dead friend loved Sonic the Hedgehog. I was terrified by the assimilation of things, but I wasn't reassured by the fact that it was the friendly blue character. I double-clicked on the new file, and the screen went completely black. A few seconds later, a text appeared at the bottom right of the screen that said loading, with 3 ellipses that appeared and disappeared in frequency. "This is a fucking game," I exclaimed. I didn't know how to feel about this. I waited for it to load, and the screen changed to a completely colorful 16-bit green hill background, with the Sonic the Hedgehog logo moving his finger like in the classic games, along with the typical music. For a moment, I believed that the issue of the pen drive had nothing to do with the death of my friend. That is until I saw the fine print of the main menu of the game. Where it should say the company is Sega and other credits, everything was written in what seems to be the same strange language in which the document that was inside the pen drive was written. A chill ran through me and I decided to press the enter button. The name of the level, Green Hill Zone, appeared, with the same music from the original game, and then the level began. I moved left and right with the arrow keys on the keyboard, and I could jump with the spacebar. I held down the right button to advance in the level. The character remained completely normal. The strange thing started when I collided with an enemy. In the original game, if you collided with a Badnik enemy, rings would come out of Sonic in the form of damage. But this time, that didn't happen. Instead of rings, some very strange red square-shaped objects came out. My optimistic mind thought it was a simple bug, but deep down inside, I knew it was not a good sign. I kept going until I finished the level. The next one, where the title of the next level should have been a text, was displayed in the same strange language that I mentioned before. This time, the background was not normal. It was a slowly moving blood red. That's when I got scared, and I pressed the escape button. The game wouldn't close, so I used Control-Alt-Delete. It didn't work either. I got desperate. While the image distorted violently, a flash appeared. A light blinked very quickly. It paralyzed me. I couldn't move or close my eyes. I could only see the horrible things that were happening on the screen. A woman's screams began to sound, excessively disturbing, while Sonic's face crying blood was shown in close-up, while a text that said RIP appeared everywhere. The screams did not stop. In fact, they became louder and louder. I started to cry, but without being able to move, my eyes were simply watering. Later, I started to shiver. I ended up like him. I thought terrified. The screen turned black and the scream stopped. I struggled to be able to move, but it was in vain. A huge number 10 written in red came out of the black screen. Then it changed to 9, 8, 7. I have to get out of here, I thought, unable to move. 6, 5. With my greatest effort, I managed to move my finger, then my head, my arms, and then my entire body. The count was 2 when I jumped to the floor to cover my head, as if a shooting was involved. I heard a horrible woman scream, similar to those that sound those horror jokes on the internet, only this one was scarier, worse still, it was prolonged. I quickly disconnected the computer cable, took out the pen drive, and stomped on it until it was destroyed. The nightmare was over. Even so, I couldn't stop shivering. I dried my tears and left the computer room. I never told anyone until now. Maybe I should forget it. Sometimes I think I shouldn't expose my life out of simple curiosity. It's not worth it. But if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that whatever happened after that countdown, I never want to know.